Good morning. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's morning call. It's been a little while, actually since pre-Thanksgiving that I've been here. I'll get more into that on the recap. It's good to be back, and at this point, it's a little late today, so I'm going to get right into it. SPX futures have been all over the map. I think expectations were really high for what Draghi would do, and I think that he's continuing on the QE plan, but maybe not as aggressive as some would like. So all of a sudden, the euro is going higher, the dollar is going lower. A few things might be changing, so we'll see how that evolves, and we'll go into that again in the recap. But as of now, Europe that was higher is now flattish to down all over the place. SPX futures that were up 15 at around 6 o'clock are now flattish and all over the map. Feels like there's been an entire session of trading, and I think it's only about 8:30 right now, or 8:40. So with that being said, the action lately has not been easy. We've had a lot of misdirectional moves, a lot of erratic type trades where the guys having the most success are taking their trades because, basically if you don't, it's been changing, and if you think the direction is changing, it hasn't. And you could see, with the example right here of the SPX. You look at the SPX and you will see that, look at the size of this move. You would have thought that right here you had first of all, if you look here, okay, it seemed as if the market would be coming in, okay, and that was Tuesday. That if you reduced a little risk on that day, it made sense. Yes, it didn't break below the range here, but definitely gave you a little bit of okay, maybe I should reduce, maybe this isn't going to hold before a powerful update. And if you look at the size of this update, that was pretty big on Tuesday. So if you read me on Twitter, because I've been over there, I haven't been on video, I was like, what has to hold? I would think that this 297-ish area needs to hold in order for the market to be any good. That you want to have at least half of this breakout hold to show some commitment to it, and then all of a sudden, boom, that was yesterday. So with that being said, you look at the chart like this, it's a pretty ugly candle. Engulfed an entire breakout candle. Did we fall apart? Did we break the 21-day? Did we hit the 50-day? No, but if you reduced risk yesterday, it made sense, and some people probably went out short. So this morning, if you woke up with the futures up 15 handles, like, oh, what do I do? Do I have to short more? Is this a trap? Kind of like, look at this move that engulfed it there, but now we're flattish. So, the morning trade is somewhat changed. So the question is, what do we know now? Okay, so what you should write down is yesterday's low. Yesterday's low is 2,077. Okay, that is your pivot support. Do we break below it, stay below it, and hit the 21-day, which at this point is a little bit closer to what is this 21-day? Mark has been doing the morning call, so I'm not sure he has it in there, but the 21-day seems like it's closer to maybe this 2056-ish area. What is this tail right here? This tail is actually 2070. So we'll see if 2070-ish holds. If we were still up, I would have said, let's take a look at the 5-minute from yesterday to see where resistance is. So this way, maybe if you're looking to re-short, because maybe you're covered, you don't want to go home short, you're like, I want to re-short this move. I would have said, okay, here around 2093, where it broke down from, that'd be probably a spot to look to re-short, for that H cell setup. Boom, boom, down. And if it happened to get above here and stay above here, we're back in the range. So 2093 to 2098, I feel like is a big resistance area, which we're below now, that you'll see if whether or not the market gets rejected there. So let's go back to the daily chart. So I think today will be interesting ahead of the jobs report, but getting very erratic in here. So, sometimes it leads to some kind of directional, sometimes it's just chop fest. So when, again, it's a chop fest, you have to take your trades, and you also want to look to sectors to see if there's any kind of leadership or whatnot. And, you got to say the Qs are the strongest, so you got to put up the Qs. But here too, if you look, if you're going day by day, okay, the Qs did a red dog reversal yesterday where it traded above a prior high, which was 115.16, closed near the low. So some people probably got out and short and said, okay, you know what, we have a small ascending channel here. Let's see if it holds above or not. So with that being said, watch yesterday's low. If we hold above it, not much to do. 114.28 is that area. Below that, maybe some corrective type action happens, considering we're right back near highs. If we hold this and go sideways, maybe we just needed more time. There's not much to say about, other sectors out there. You have the Russell that, trended up. It also, if you look at the overall chart of it, getting a little testy up here where it kind of failed at resistance. Yesterday you had this engulfing down day. So that could have got you out, We're now testing the 8-day. You have some moving averages below. I guess look at yesterday's low. So in my note, I wrote down what yesterday's low was across the board, 118.45 to trade versus, and also where maybe it can get rejected at, and it's already been rejected there. So here, come back to me for a second. Let's go. I'll tell you exactly where the futures are now. We'll see, what's relevant and what's not. If you go to the spiders now, which have been all over the map, spiders right now are down 26 cents. They were up $1.50. So if you woke up early and faded the market, which is not easy to do, you already got paid today. Go back to sleep. But anyway, you look at the spiders here, and the spiders actually, engulfed this entire move. So this was a signal to sell some. It got me out yesterday. I was in some Microsoft, I was in some Netflix, I was in some Facebook, and this type of move up here with this erratic nature got me flat. Got some people short. So again, if you went home short and you woke up this morning and said, oh my God, today's going to be a tough day, if it took you a few hours to get in like it did with me because the traffic was horrendous, you're fine now. If you took things home long and said, oh, I'm going to take it long into support, and you didn't sell before you left in your morning on your laptop, now it's gone. So anyway, this is the low here. The low here is 208.23. So below that, here's your 21-day. Okay, and right now we did close below the 8-day. So again, if you stay in longs thinking, I could follow active trends, but if they break the 8-day, I'm out, you probably get out yesterday. Now you see what's next. We'll see what happens around this pivot. This pivot's 208.23, and then you have the 21-day. Now you go to stocks. We have our go-to list of stocks. You've had the FANG names that have been strong. This week they gave you kind of two weird moves. I know on Monday, Amazon, Google, all of them closed on the lows. And then Tuesday they opened up, and they just squeezed everyone out of every position. Then yesterday, opened up, and then closed on the lows again. So this wishy-washy type of, trading up here, would probably cause you to at least reduce a little risk. And then yesterday, Amazon, the strongest name out there with the best news out there, failed to break out, giving you some clues to take some risk, down. And now with it was up $5 this morning. Now I don't know, it probably is up $1. Use yesterday's low. Yesterday's low is 674. Below 674, the 8-day is probably a little closer to 667. Okay, Google came out with some news that they're going to be streaming or trying to get YouTube to license some streaming and some content to compete with Netflix, etc. Yesterday, a little red dog reversal up here where it traded above 785, put a high in here at 793 in reverse. So some of you might have gotten out if you got in when it broke above this little flag type pattern, because that's what you do with the red dog reversal. You get out. Some might have went short. So now, if you did go short again and woke up this morning, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm in trouble. Now it's a little closer to flattish. See if it shows some relative strength today because of that YouTube news. If not, yesterday's low is 776. Okay, so write that down and see if it breaks that and comes back into the base, or but the trend really here, from this doesn't really change for a while. So it's just a day trading, exits and entries for cash flow, unless you've been sitting in it since the gap up after earnings. And if you did that, you're getting paid real well, and you're probably still in it, unless you were looking for a topping tail type signal, which is the first time you got it here. But you also got it here, but didn't amount to much. So we'll see what this amounts to. Yesterday, I think a lot of us had a good trade with Netflix. Netflix was the focus. It was tight. Seemed like it could catch up to like a Google and an Amazon type trade. And even though Amazon and Google sold down and held in, it wasn't up a lot this morning, maybe because of the Google news. But all in all, when the futures were up 15, it was up $1. I'm like, this should be up 5, considering how strong it was. For me, my buy yesterday was when it cleared this 126.39, gave us a good trade. Tried to stay with it, and then at the end of the day, when the market came in and it couldn't hold 129.29, I get out. And now we'll see if it could hold in there. I'm not sure exactly what it's doing now. It's up $1, but the futures are coming in, so we'll see if it holds up. You would think that you go to your 5-minute chart, if this is going to be any good, okay, and hold in there, you would think that yesterday's support area would hold, and that comes in a little bit closer to 127.50. 127.50 holds, maybe it's a buy and hangs in there and the market's okay. If it doesn't and falls apart, and you have Google and you have Amazon trading through yesterday's lows, then you got to take a step back. It's a little risk down. As far as everyone knows I like to trade Apple, and I had a decent thesis on it. I thought perhaps it could hold 117.50 and trade through 119 and go to 121. It didn't happen. So I got out of my Apple, I believe, on Tuesday when the market was strong, and it just went negative and stopped me out. And since then, it hasn't acted well at all. So if you look, here it looked kind of decent, like maybe it could continue to go, was flagging, and then, it just started to, just drip lower, and some guys made money short. I just got out of it, and now it's, it's not looking like, like much here. Not really that healthy at all, to be honest. It's now below all the moving averages, closed on the lows yesterday. When it was up 70 cents in my note, I'm like, this is probably something you want to fade, because they sell it when the market's strong. Why would, if they sell the market down, why wouldn't they, sell it again? So now anyway, see how it reacts at 116.08, which is yesterday's low, which it might be there now. And then you have the gap up from Goldman Sachs. This was the Goldman Sachs gap up, 117.50. Remember that nice trade here? Thought maybe it could hold in there. And then on this day, when it broke below here, that's when it got me out. And now I'm trying not to trade it at all. And I would have maybe even shorted it today, but now I'm just going to let it figure itself out. Microsoft's been a really good trade for us. Topping tail yesterday got me out of it. I still think it's strong. What we really liked about it was huge gap up and held. This is when we added to it somewhere around here. Sold some yesterday. Actually sold it all yesterday. Now I guess see if it needs to pull back to the 8-day, which has been the guide for a few weeks. This little topping tail could have got you out, and now we'll see if it hangs in there. Very strong stock. It's been good to a lot of people. A lot of the Chinese names have been in play. BABA's been really strong after getting added to the world indice. It acted well, didn't sell off, and kind of got a little bit rejected here, okay, at the prior high. So some are saying double top. I'm not exactly sure. We'll see. If it could hold this little spot and go sideways, that would be good. It is stretched from the 8-day, which is down here, and that 8-day. Let's see. Does it tell you the 8-day? No. I got to fix this up a little bit. Sperling did his little changes, but anyway, these are your support spots. So I guess if you magnify it, you can probably see it a little bit better. So just say this little area here, which is a little closer to, it's up there. Okay, hold on. This is 83.50-ish. So we'll see if that holds. Baidu, I guess they gave it too much on that day, so it's been quiet since. So if you go to Baidu, it's not, it's still in the game. It's had a few inside bars because, again, look at the size of this move when all that extra buying came in, and now it's trying to hold here. So if it could hold here, I think it's still fine. But we'll see what happens with the overall market as it's been wishy-washy. Here's a bit of your uptrend in your 21-day. So if just say Draghi didn't deliver, and then all of a sudden you see some strength in the euro and the dollar, which has been really strong, starts to come in. Maybe that helps the commodities. And oil was a drag yesterday, so who knows? Maybe the push-pull there keeps the market intact. The USO, we talked about, if it breaks 40 is going to be a problem, and it became a problem yesterday. I've been listing this level in my note when the USO broke this, what was this, this 1280. So now you have a low here of, let's see, the low here of 1238. So with that being said, when markets break thresholds, it cares. It's done it a few times. Remember this pattern here when it broke below, market cared, and then it kind of forgot, and now market cared again, and here's your, your old low here, which is coming close. So see if oil can get back above 40 or not. Let me see the USO right now, see if there's any kind of, big push with, if it's still even doing that. USO is, up about 1%. So we'll see if, the market didn't love a strong dollar or a dollar that gets too strong. So maybe that'll be helpful if the dollar does weaken today. And then also, obviously, then we have the jobs number tomorrow. The jobs number tomorrow, everyone thinks the Fed's going to raise rates. It's only like a 70% chance, priced in according to the experts. So we'll see what happens, with that. I think the market does want liftoff. The question is for traders now, can you ride a trend above 2,100 to highs of the year, or do we pull back down towards 2,050 and it become a choppy trade? You don't know that yet. The market's been narrow. There's been not a lot of leaders. So if the leaders start to falter, you're not going to have much to hang your hat on. You can't just have 5 stocks just making higher highs. And yes, if those 5 stocks do act well and strong stocks get stronger into year end, that's why you need to focus on them. That's why we focus even on, like, just say Facebook. Had a day one, okay, which was decent, right? Day one trade in Facebook, broke above this spot, and then gave you a small sell signal yesterday when it pushed above a prior high, just so you know, the 107.15 after hitting 107.92, and that was your sell signal. So I know I was long it the day before, took it home, sold some into strength, and then when it went red, I got out. So now you'll see if it could hang around here a little bit. This is still considered best in breed. It's just a little heavier. The news that Zuckerberg, which is unbelievable, giving all that money to charity. I don't know if people think maybe it becomes a little less shareholder friendly, but anyway, today's low or yesterday's low is 105.79. See if that could hold. Yesterday you got a small sell signal, a decent day and a half trading. That's, I guess, what you have to do. I try not to be married to these things. Day and a half trades to the upside, and then if they fail, maybe look for a cute short. Every stock is not created equal. It's been the story. That's been the story for the last 3 months, maybe even the entire year. And now we'll see, what happens if, your dollar gets a little weaker and commodities change a little bit. Look at the GLD. We'll see what happens there today. It's been an absolute debacle. It's been, just so you know, guys, look, the GLDs have been below the 200-day, I would say, for 95% of the year. According to Red Dog rules, below the 8 and 21-day, you're not in it. Below the 200-day, it's not even an investment. So new lows in the year should not have been a surprise. So now the question is, if you get a quick little change, do you get a misdirection move? So we'll see what happens here. Yesterday's high in the GLD is 101.35. Let me take a quick look one more time here before I close it up. See if, like, you're getting any kind of potent move in commodities. GLD's up 47 cents. So they're not rushing to buy oil and they're not rushing to buy, the metals. So you probably shouldn't change your thesis there. At this point, again, do we hold higher and push into year end so you could have a portfolio of stocks, or are we going to be choppy, erratic, and with not a lot of direction, and you have to be kind of flattish and take trades, and each day will be different? That's kind of what we've had this week. So stay with the strong stocks. Continue to write down your pivots. Continue to stay within your plan, and keep booking trades until we get more clarity. We're in one of those spots where the PE of the S&P is still a little bit high. Earnings haven't been great. Liftoff is probably good for the market, but higher rates overall is not great. So there's a lot of debate going on, and then you have a new year coming in 2016. Typically, new money comes in. So I think the bulls are scared that if we do hold higher, that the new money comes in and we get one more push above 2,100 to 2,130 to maybe 2,170. But then also, once things start to unravel, they can unravel fast. So that's why a day like yesterday, all of a sudden you're reducing your risk because you're like, is that day one down to lead to lower prices as we were even a little bit more overbought? So, a lot to digest. At this point, I would say, there's been a lot of volatility this morning. If you didn't short the market when it was up 15 handles an hour ago, flattish, be careful pressing here, and I would also just be careful buying just in case things get another day two down. So that's why I showed you those pivots from yesterday to use to base your risk against. This will probably be my last morning call for a while. I do have surgery on Monday morning, 7:30, for a sequestered disc in my back. It's been very painful. That's why I've been out. But I'm going to have hopefully a 95 to 100% recovery, be stronger than ever, be back in action, 2016 full force. But for the next week, maybe 2 weeks, I'm probably not going to be as active, with the note and on Twitter, because I'll be recovering from surgery. Back surgery is nothing to laugh at, but this is considered the easier version. I'll try and do a recap today. I don't know if I'll make it through the day. If I do, you'll see me again. If I don't, I wish you guys the best. And you know, the community's been great, very positive vibes. I thank you for that. And you know, bad times lead into good times, and adversity happens, and setbacks also happen, and you just deal with them and get stronger, and you move on. How you deal with things is what creates the essence of who you are. So with that said, good luck today, and I'll be in touch. Have a good one.